All right, I'm sharing my screen. Let's get started. Okay, sharing the entire screen, and here we go. All right, yes. So, welcome back to this particular training program that we have started last week. So, we have seen how to create virtual machines in our last session. I hope you must have watched the recordings and you must have tried implementing. If not, do it. If you need any sort of help, do reach out to me and we'll help you. Okay. All right, so we are moving forward. So we are going to learn what Azure directory. Okay, so what is the meaning of it, right? So let me just quickly show you the. So I added the links into the notes. Okay, already. So for the people who are referring the notes, either real. So here I already added the notes for or the links for AZ which you are supposed to refer to. Okay, for AZ, okay, the add के लिए but it has not worked as a link. अभी हो गया. ठीक है. So this is a link now. So it is not a Windows directory as we are in Windows. We are OS or Windows system. We are having Windows directory, which manages basically. See, directory means it's very simple. It is a folder or it is a place where some we can store something. Now, when I'm talking about Windows directory or Azure directory for sake, so it is basically where we are storing the information of users who are going to use the system. Okay. So Windows directory, to be very specific, it works in offline mode. So something which is on premise, people used to use Windows directory. Now, in order to support the cloud applications, in order to support authentication over the internet, Azure has came up with Active Directory. Now later they have modified the names and then now they are calling it as Microsoft Entra. So Entra term, it refers as the entrance to the system or entrance to the cloud platform. Okay, so that is how they uh, bring this particular notion of instead of Azure Directory, Azure Active Directory, they're talking it like Microsoft Entra. So that is the name you can see on the Azure portal. Okay, here we go. And when I'm trying to search for Active Directory, it is going to show me Microsoft Entra. So I actually opened it, hence it is there. In your case, it won't be. So search for Active Directory and you will find a service called as Microsoft Entra, or continue searching for Azure Directory is something over here. Windows Azure Directory is different. That is what Windows Directory is different and Azure Active Directory is different. Okay, here you can see Azure Active Directory. You click on this, you will get on the same page, and it is referring us as a um, Microsoft Entra basically. So privilege identity management, and there are a lot of things. I'm clicking on the market link, and then we are taking it forward from there. Okay, so as soon as I went there, it is asking me to create a new tenant basically. So what is tenant, what is all that, I'm going to teach you. Okay, so it is directly moving towards like that. So we are going to use Microsoft Entra underscore ID, which is where we are going to see how we can create users, what is tenant, what is user groups, and there are a few more things. Okay, let's get back and try to understand what exactly is Azure Directory. Okay, so they have changed the name. So this is from their official documentation. I shared this link in the notes. So this is their official documentation. Microsoft Entra ID is what the name that they have changed. Hmm? So it is a simple authentication service basically, which helps us to create multiple users and then managing their access. Like if I'm having 10 people in my organization, and suppose only 5 people should have access to create virtual machines, remaining 5 should be able to see only this current status. They should not be able to create because they are new joiners. So in that particular way, we can restrict the privileges, we can restrict the access of the user using this particular Active Directory. Now it's not like only for users, so we can create multiple groups, we can create for one single account, we can create multiple tenants, and there are so many things that we can do. Hmm? So so it's all about secure access, right? So in their website as well, they have mentioned like not anybody and everybody can access your system. If you have created users, only those people you will be able to do so. One. Number two, it's like accessing like authentication. Now access secure access. Um, Sorry, authentication and authorization are two different terms basically that I wanted to highlight on. So authentication is like they are able to log in, and then if once log in, what they are authorized to do, whether they are able to create a database, whether they are able to delete the database, that is the authority that we can provide from this particular service called as Azure AD. Now going forward, we are going to learn so many services. So this is the fundamental block of everything. Now yesterday or in last session, we have created a virtual machine and I logged in it with only one user. Correct? We all have seen, we have seen a demonstration. We logged in, we went into the virtual machine, and we also have performed some activity which connected to internet, and we search for tech amplifiers. We can also install software as we have the access to the internet, and then once installed, we can, if I deploy my application over there, I'll be able to access it over the internet. So that is the next process. The in deployment phase, we are going to see that. But now, if I wanted to see, once I deploy, I'll not personally go and as a team lead or as a manager, if somebody at that particular post, they will not go and log in every time into the VM and then they will see how the system is working, whether the logs are generating correctly, whether everything is fine. So what they can do is they can create a users and then they can provide a view only access to those users. So that virtual machine another user can be created with the help of Azure Direct. Okay, or maintained, basically manage the users is something what we do. Man, manage and protect Microsoft Inter IDs. Inter IDs like the user IDs basically. Hmm? So it is a solution that connects employees, customers, and partners to their apps. So if I'm building my application software, right? So let me give an example. So see, nowadays any website, anything that you open, like even Tech Amplifiers ka web application as well, you can log in with your Gmail account, right? So you want to create account on I'm not sure any of the new product that you are using online software as a service, so you can use your Gmail account as authentication. Hmm? So that is what single sign-on is the concept. So a single thing will be required to log in on multiple platforms. So that particular mechanism has been invented or started with Microsoft directory, and then Microsoft directory few features they have added into Azure directory, but Azure directory, Azure Active Directory is more powerful than anything out there in the market. I guess Google must be using their solution itself because it is the best one I know till now. I'm not sure actually what Google is using, but it is best till now. Secure and adaptive access, seamless user interface. Like I don't need to remember a lot of credentials, right? So only one credential and I'll be able to log into everything. Reduce time in managing passwords and increase. है ना? हर बार who is going to maintain the password or remember the password of different systems? Create a single one and use it everywhere. Hmm? If you are using username password, or if not, then sign in with some single sign-on mechanism. Hmm? Unified identity management. So that is what it is providing us, and it has more possibilities, capabilities. Basically. See, this is what I was talking about. We can easily integrate multiple apps. Suppose I have 4 different products, and I can use a single username password to log in into all 4 products, like single sign-on mechanism. Same username password logs in into everything. So now the next thing which Azure AD provides is passwordless MFA, multi-factor authentication. Who is like it is very difficult for us to remember all the credentials, like Instagram का password अलग, Facebook नहीं, LinkedIn का password अलग, then क्या और क्या क्या होता है हमारे पास. I have GitHub उसका password अलग, I have HackerRank account, uska password alag. Then there are so many applications we use day in and day out, right? Who is going to remember the password, right? So in such cases, like I have AWS account, uska password alag. I have Azure account, uska password alag, right? So I cannot remember everything in my mind, or if I store it somewhere, then it will be there are chances that somebody will hack it and get the access. So instead of that, we have multi-factor authentication and even passwordless multi-factor. Like you don't need to enter the password, you just enter the MFA code. For that, we need some applications to generate the security code. Google Authenticator or something like that. They create they help us to log in with multi-factor authentication. Okay, conditional less access, who can access what the right uh, of access, like that is what I was talking earlier. Like if I have five users, five user can only view the databases, remaining five can modify, edit and delete the databases. That is the conditional access I can provide. I can also protect their identity, like who is the user, nobody else outside the or that any other user will understand what role I have access to one person or one particular user. So identity management, I can also protect, and I can also manage end-to-end self-service. Like you can reset your password, you can do your anything. You don't need the admin help. But there is one dashboard, or there is one way in admin dashboard that you can reset the password of your employees if they in case forget. Hmm? So there are so many things that you can do. So we are going to see everything, these points, like we are going to see the account, we are going to see the groups, and then there are some more operations that we are going to perform on user, okay, end user basically. Hmm? Admin center, I'll show you. So this is where we are going to see the same page we are going to see in some time, and we are going to work on that particular page. So this is just a official documentation that I'm referring to. You can also go and do that. Right here they have provided the, that is when I came to this, because this is the best way to elaborate or explain how it does exactly AD help to build or connect with multiple things. Okay. What I wanted to show you. So go to the products, not related products. Okay. In products, you will find this particular page. Okay. Let's talk about now. This is the intra ID, the cloud-based, cloud-enabled Active Directory. Okay, which is Microsoft Entra ID. So on the cloud, we have stored our users, their credentials, and if anybody, like suppose you are logging from your mobile phone or laptop, and you are trying to access my application, okay, any application that I develop. So what will happen that username password will get cross-checked. So of course I'll write the code accordingly on Microsoft AD, and then once the credentials are correct, we can send the request and person will be able to access it. Now see, a single user is having same credentials that for one application, whatever I develop. So that single user, if he is having his own system, his own laptop, so that also we can use in order to access that same credential. I'll be able to use to access that particular system in Active Directory. This is Windows Active Directory I'm referring to. So if you have some on-premise apps which are not hosted on cloud, something which is in internal network, I can access. So this is in on-premise. These both the things are on-premise, and these are the things which are on cloud. Hmm? So if I have some applications like suppose I have installed Postgres database on my system, or within the network we have common Postgres database. So the password of the Postgres will be the same that or my credentials of the Postgres will be my same credentials which I use to log in into my system and which I use to access my web application or Android application. And then say SaaS apps or cloud infrastructure, anything like suppose I want to log in into AWS as well, or suppose Azure, we'll be using same credential for Azure login, same credential for app login, same credential for Windows login, same credential for database login. So that is what Microsoft Azure Directory, Active Directory basically helping you to do or maintain the single sign-on and the access privilege as well. As an admin will provide कि आपको क्या क्या access रहेगा, right? So that is what basically this particular system does. And also along with this, not only this, we can also add some external users, like somebody who has recently we collaborated with, like for hiring people we collaborated with some HR management tools, so I can easily connect those systems in my Azure directory, and all the users now will be copied over here or replicated, and then they will have the access to it. Some external users like our clients, they are having their different domain names. Okay, so there is something called as tenant, so which is basically for unique for a single domain name. I'm going to show you creating the things. So some external users like our clients or some remote workers, like basically what is it? Freelancers basically. These are external identities for my environment, for my company. So their email ID will be different, of course. For my team, anybody who is working in my organization, they are going to have the same email domain, and then they will be able to access, of course. But you can also integrate the external users. Hmm? Workload identities, if you have some automation implemented, some bots or some scripts which are running automatically, so you can also provide access to them. But now this point I have mentioned in my notes as well. इधर क्या अरे हाँ इधर open. Hmm. So basically, a person which is a person who is in my team, authentication will be with the help of username, password, or multi-factor authentication. But when I'm trying to provide access of my AD to the app, any of the application that I develop, so it will be the managed identity. These things will not be the same as the user. Okay. So it is going to be the automated access, and that for that we will be having a different mechanism, not username password or a mechanism. Okay, it will be the security key or authentication token that AD will help us to generate, and then that token I'll be adding it my code of the application, and then my app will be able to talk to the Azure directly. Okay. So in this Azure directory, so it is a cloud-based identity management system, and basically it has a lot of features. So we'll talk about that. So couple of them that we are having is like we have account, we can create account, we can have a tenant into the AD, we can also have subscription RG are applicable to all the services out there in Azure, but account and tenant are somewhat related to only Azure direct. That is when I help them elaborate in the detail. Account is for user, or it is for the application, anybody who is using our product or the utility, so we can create an account for them so that they can have smooth access of my services. Of course I can restrict the what you can say, restrict the access, like what you can use and all, so that can be restricted, but the access can be provided to any of the user in my team or anybody coming from the outside and joining my team or working with the organization. So that can be easily done. Secondly, we have tenant. What do I mean by tenant? So tenant represent organization, that's it, by the domain name. So if I'm having techamplifiers.com, or techamplifiers is my organization, and I am suppose I'm having multiple organizations, right? So for one organization I'll be creating one tenant in the cloud means Azure tenant. So that tenant is so that as a owner of multiple companies or as a owner of multiple domains, I can have multiple domains in the same company as well. So but the two different teams will be working on two different products. So basically in that case I can also have you make use of tenant, which helps us, gives me the distinguish between both the products also, or both the teams. Okay, so it helps me to maintain the access. Okay, so tenant has a dedicated instance of Azure AD. Every tenant, whatever you with the domain name, we are going to create a tenant, and that tenant will have a separate instance of a Azure directory. So one tenant can be part of multiple domains, that's fine, but every tenant is going to have a Azure directory instance. So currently in our free trial account, free tier account, so I also have created this is default directory showing. I'm quickly going to home and then going to Microsoft Intra. So this is the login that I have logged in. So this is basically the one of the account, one of the user from that particular tenant. So this is one of the user who has the administrator access. So if I go in default directory, so this is showing me the overview, like what it has. So name of the directory, this is default directory. Tenant ID. So this is very important when you're doing automation or when you're trying to connect or access the Azure directory with the help of code. We need to mention the tenant ID. So primary domain is this. So now since I do not have, I have users use Gmail. So they're like, Gmail is not your company, I know. Okay. So that is when they have appended that or Microsoft.com as a additional domain. And this is my primary domain. So my for default directory, this is the domain that they have signed. And license that it is showing, it is a free license because I'm using a free tier account. So there are multiple things that you can refer to. You can also monitor how many users, किसने कब sign in किया, right? Sign in. So since I myself is a single user, I have not signed in for a long time. So this is already signed in on the day one after I have not logged out. Okay. So sign in attempts, failed sign in, successful sign in. So everything is maintained and monitored over here. Who is the properties of this particular default directory? Like tenant ID again repeated, technical contact. So in only my email ID they have used. Your organization protected by security by default. It has your own security. Then some recommendations are given. I guess there wouldn't be. So you don't need to worry about that. And then there are some tutorials like how to use documentation, conditional access, already we are going to see these things in detail. So you don't need to go and read. Okay. So let's go to the managed tenant. Like this is the Azure directory that I have created. So I'm just want to show you key what exactly tenant. Okay. So when I'm going to go in a managed tenant, so I can see only one organization over there, which organization name is default directory. Yeah, I could have created my own organization. I can easily create, and for tenant I can create, and then I can have the multiple tenants for the same account. Okay, but one tenant will always have a default unique domain name. Hmm? Tenant type is Microsoft Enter ID, which is what I want, and organization ID is this, which is what the Active Directory wala ID. It will be, I guess, same. So you can create a tenant Microsoft Intra, and you don't need to worry about B2C. It is business to client, so end-to-end user के लिए है. So right now will not go in that. So I'll quickly help you with creating the tenant. So what tenant does, nothing much, but it has a separate access, or I can provide a separate access to both the things. So I want to put the type name of the organization, initial domain name. If I see, if I don't have, it is going to append on Microsoft.com. Of course, that is what it has done. So why I need tenant first place? So if I have multiple tenants, I can decide whatever user I'll create. Uh, that user will have access of which tenant, number one, and depending on that, the accesses will be given. Okay, so I can create a tenant. Let me just quickly do it along with you, so that organization name, take amplifiers, check hyphen amplifiers, and then it is going to appear on Microsoft. I don't know to use .com. United States would work. अल्फा न्यूमेरिक बोल रहा है, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा क्या? ठीक है, it won't work. ठीक है, I'm putting like this only. ठीक है, here I can search for India if I wanted to create in India the location where you want to create this tenant. Hmm? These are the directory details actually, not tenant details. So that is when inside the directory only the tenant is going to get created. Okay. Intra ID, techamplifiers.com, location India. Khatam. So I can easily go and create. Validation passed means you can go and create a tenant. It will take time. It is asking me to prove you're not robot, you are using this system, and then you are creating a valid one. So let me just help with the PyH. Submitting it. Tenant creation failed. I go. Okay. I have got wrong. SDW, ऐसे ऊपर का तो नीचे का लास्ट भी होगा. अरे मेरे को नहीं आ रहा है क्या कैप्चा है. एक मिनट रुको, शायद उसका ये अलग है शायद. छोटा वाला कुछ तो छोटा वाला था, आपने फेल कर दिया. कैप्स लॉक कौन था? ओ माय गॉड. हाँ अभी ठीक. LSP इसके बिना तो कुछ नहीं होगा. अरे ये रे के लोग, एक सेकंड रुका. let me just put.
Total touch 8. Govern.
Yes.
Problem.
Right.
Allow.
View.
Women.
Top.
Success.
Yes.
9. Govern.
Yes.
Problem.
Right.
Allow.
View.
Women.
Top.
ठीक है यार, ये कैप्चा का कुछ गड़बड़ है. I'm not sure like which sequence that they're following. If so, we will not be able to proceed this particular activity. But anyway, so you got the idea, right? So it is going to help me to create the AZ account. Hmm? Sorry, AZ tenant basically. So one tenant would have been created, but that is not happening right now. So we'll uh, if you guys go and try, you can create one if you could manage to capture all our stuff. So basically, a second directory will be created over here, and we'll have two names. Now, the benefit of it is at the time of creating user, you have two options. If you want to create user in this tenant or that tenant, so that is something and optional things will be provided over there. So that is not happening right now. Okay, so we are going back Azure directory overview. So instead of creating tenants, so now see the way I can create multiple tenants in one Azure directory, I can also create Azure directory itself. Hmm? So an enterprise application group. Okay, I can create. I'm clicking on add. I can create users. So before creating users, let me show you the users. Hmm? So as of now, in users, all users I'm showing you. I hope you are able to. So this is only one user which is a member and has identities like this. I can create multiple users. Like let me just create few. You can also invite external user to collaborate, like putting the email ID of that user. But I don't want to do that. So let me just create some. हाँ, so here I could have got the options like अभी देखो मेरे को here I am able to see only one at the rate के बाद only one. So if I would have created domains, sorry, multiple tenants, I would have an option to select another tenant. That is what I was trying to do in previous page. Fine, that is fine. So user का नाम, so let me just put the name of the user like Omkar. So this is the name I'm trying to use, Omkar at the rate something something. And here I can use the display name. Password is auto generated. I do not need to do auto generated password. I can see it. I can copy it and I can use it later at the time of login. Account is enabled. Yes. I just need to put the name. I don't need to do anything else. Properties में आइडेंटिटी है तो उसका फर्स्ट नेम मैंने वहाँ पे ऑलरेडी डाला ही था, so I don't need to put it again. Then job information, title, what is the role that he is having, इसका manager add करो, address add करो. There are multiple things. Personal, those are not mandatory, so I'll not proceed with that. Assignment क्या क्या है उसको, अगर group, see we have not talked about user groups. We'll be talking about a user group. I can also assign a role. Like role means which आप एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर कर सकते हो काम, आप स्ट्रिंग डेवलपर का काम कर सकते हो, एंड व्हाट एग्जैक्टली योर रोल इज. आप डेवऑप्स का काम कर सकते हो, मैनेज ऑल डेवऑप्स रिलेटेड स्टफ दैट आई कैन प्रोवाइड द रोल्स. आई डो नॉट वांट टू एनी प्रोवाइड एनी राइट नाउ. To assign a custom role, now these are the default roles. Suppose you want to create your own role, you can create, but in order to create your custom roles, you need to have a Azure premium AD का premium access, which I don't have right now. So I'll be showing something like a developer का access है अब. ठीक है, so I'm just adding a role as developer. I don't have any groups as of now. ठीक है, ये I have not create any groups, user groups. So group create करने के बाद I will be able to select or assign. We can also edit the user after created. I'm moving forward. So review and create password मुझे copy कर लिया मैंने already. Account enabled, yes. So details, and then here I go. I created user. User creation in progress. User created successfully, but still it is not showcasing over here. That's absolutely fine. It has created. Just hit the refresh button from here, and the user will be uh, showing. Or so you can see the Omkar name over here and that particular. So identity is like this, and then member, and that's fine. So we have email ID of the user, we have the password of the user, so you can absolutely go and log in with this credential. Like, see, it is like my organization is having team members, and unke liye I have created a separate user account with the access of a developer. So I can have access of administrator as well. I can provide the access of admin, but that is not recommended one. So with this, you can also go and log in as I mentioned. So as of now, I have already logged in, so I'm not going to log out and log in. So basically, you can go and see the users, what all details has been provided to the user called as Omkar. So this is the email ID, object ID is again provided. If you want to provide some work, member assigned role is showing one. This is the identity, like in this particular tenant, it is there. Account status is enabled, so you can go and log in, right? So you can also check in the properties, like you can modify as well, whatever. Like earlier I have not filled everything because as an admin I was not aware like what is his contact information. or I need to fill up. I'll need more time to find and then fill up. So the user himself can go and modify, and or me as an admin can go and modify it later if I wanted to. Okay, first name, last name, कुछ भी नहीं भरा है. You can go and fill it up. So on-premise data sync up. So there are multiple things. Job information, settings, parental control, and then things are there. Okay, so assign roles I can check for these particular users. The roles assigned would be developer role. I guess we have did it. Application developer, create applications, register, and do those things. So he cannot modify the network settings. He cannot modify um, Azure directory related settings. He can modify only app service related things. And I'm not sure कि क्या क्या access है. So you can go in this particular thing and then you can see what all the options or access that it has given. डाउनलोड असाइनमेंट्स नहीं करना है, डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं चाहिए. ठीक है. सो दिस एप्लीकेशन रोल को कोई एक्सेस दिया है, so or there is only one user added over there, so that is what you can see. So all the developer related work that person will be able to do after login. As an admin I can do a lot of things, but as a developer, the developer will have the limitation to do things. Okay, I'm just quickly going back into again Microsoft Intra. So I have two users now. To use. I'll quickly create few more users so that I can add them into the group. So deleted users can be seen over here. Audit logs. कब किसने login किया logs. So that is also shown over here. I guess for the newly created admin का user भी दिखा रहा है यहाँ पे, right? So I logged in into Azure portal. कब किया था? इस IP address से किया था 16:10 today. 1 2 3 10 15 10 11 o'clock 15 10 14 10 I logged in. Using what? Single क्या है यहाँ पे? Single factor authentication, not multi-factor authentication. So that is something it is showing me the access log. Okay, along with that I can also see multiple things. Now second user if logs in, then I'll be able to see that users logged in credentials. Okay, if I deleted any users, I'll be able to find it. I can activate again. If I want to reset, suppose one of my team member forget his password, I can reset over here. I can change the settings of users available. So guest user can be added. Somebody who just want view only access can be added into here, into my account. So multiple things can be done into this particular Azure directory. I was talking about groups after users. So now groups is just an identical structure. Suppose I have a developer ka group. I can create multiple developers, new group. So this is just a structure of security नहीं, group type सिक्योरिटी और ऑफिस 360 ग्रुप टाइप में और कुछ नहीं आया. ठीक है, अभी सिक्योरिटी रख देते. ठीक है, तो आई गेस टाइप भी मुझे क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप का. तो नहीं, मेरे को सिक्योरिटी वाला ही करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, आई नीड टू हैव द एक्सेस टू मल्टीपल थिंग्स. ठीक है, ग्रुप नेम इज लाइक डेवलपर्स ठीक है, डेवलपर्स. ग्रुप डिस्क्रिप्शन का मैंडेटरी नहीं है. सी हियर इज स्टार, हियर इज नॉट. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू पुट membership type assigned. I do not have any option to do anything, so it is like we are assigning. Owners, no members selected as of now. So I'm just creating a group. It is a directory structure. So owner, I can decide like who is owning this particular what this particular group. I can select the owners. I have two people now over here in my options, so I can select who is the owner, number one. Okay, so which I'm not going to do right now. Members, I can again have two users. Out of that I can assign like inbuilt users are also there. So here I can see Akshay, and I should also see Omkar as well there. Yeah, so this user I'm assigning as a member of this particular uh, developers for the group. Now this is just a directory structure, or organization structure, you can say, that I'm planning to do with this particular assignment in a new group, and it has nothing to do with access. I have not yet provided the access, okay, to this particular group. So in order to provide the access to the group, I need to do some settings. Okay, so suppose I have 10 developers and tomorrow I wanted to provide them access to create a database in Azure. So I cannot go and modify the access privilege of 10 different users. It will take more time. So instead, what I can do is I can add them in a group. So having a same common group, and to this group I'll assign the privilege and once I assign the privilege to this developers or group, it all the developers inside this particular group will automatically will get that. So it is helping me to do the bulk operations. Okay, so that is what the beauty of this particular groups. Okay, deleted groups, the privilege identity management. So I guess we can discover groups. No, we don't have any as of now. Bulk operation result, I have not performed any bulk operation, so result में कुछ नहीं आएगा. ठीक है. Anyway, so go to that group and provide the access, and that is how it works basically. Hmm? So I can edit columns, copy link, manage the view. This managing helping me to manage view, not nothing else. ठीक है. So activities now, हाँ ये पता है मेरे को. दूसरा क्या है? So dynamo group membership has not been updated system is working. हाँ ठीक है, ये भी मेरे को पता है. ठीक है. So this is the group that I have created. I can go and provide the access to it, and then see source cloud, and then only one person is there. Create this time group membership, group के properties I can manage. So what see enter roles can be assigned to this group. Role क्या assign करना है? अभी यहाँ पे no है, right? I can do yes if I don't have access. I can. ठीक है. So description. So I could have, see, I am not able to do it. I guess some settings might have wrong. I can easily change the role, and then I can select from drop down like क्या करना है मेरे को. ठीक है. Then members of the groups, owners of the group, I can see roles and administrators of that particular group. I have not assigned any. Then applications, what it can access to. So I have not assigned any. Then we have licenses. I guess assignments नहीं किया तो license नहीं मिलेगा इसको. No licenses are assigned. ठीक है. So multiple things. Azure role assignment to this group. If I want to assign any role that I can assign, I have only one subscription, so I guess haven't permission to read. ठीक है. तो अभी तक उसको कुछ access दिया नहीं. So basically we can provide the access, and then bulk operation can be performed on this particular group. So this is the second thing that we can create in Azure Intra, that is Azure Active Directory. We can create users, we can create groups. Then we have multiple options. We can connect devices, we can register our apps. If I'm building a web application or any software in order to build a system, and then there are multiple things that you can do. Sign in options, sign in logs. You can also check the users of the health of the users if any password is compromised or so. And these are the options that it is having. It provides a lot of support for maintaining the security and access of every um, user. Okay. So yeah, so this is most about Azure Active Directory. We can also provide the security related activities over there for um, the Azure Directory. You can, you know, how can I protect this particular thing? So that is comes into the security law part, not with our basic things or basic certification that I wanted to refer to. So here we are only talking about the overview. How can we create users? How can we create groups? How can we provide them access to or login using the things? Okay, since I have the access of the login, let me just try login with incognito if I could do portal.azure.com. I'm just trying to see one of the user that we're having, right? So I'm just wanting to show you like how that user will be able to see. Now even I am having free tire, I don't it is not limiting me. अरे उसका password ये हो जाएगा ना. एक मिनट. Let me just, I'll delete the password later. ये password मैंने copy किया था, and then I need the username, right? किधर user? So here is the user. I can take the username and I can easily try to log in. Like if I could do this is principal username. I'm copying the username. So it is the username that I'm referring to. And once it is signed in, it is asking me the password that I copied over here. And the user, this is view only access. So even though current, okay, it is asking me to reset password. Goodbye. हाँ अच्छा, अभी nobody knows this password है ना. Okay, I'm trying to log in with the updated password that I just set for Omkar's account, so one of my team member. So and as condition is that your organization requires additional security. You have 14 days until this. Okay, ask later. हाँ मैं अभी multi Microsoft Authenticator app download करके वो बोल रहा है कि add the dual multi-factor authentication. I don't know want to do that. Sign in नहीं कर रखना है मेरे को अभी. So this is basically by creating user in my account, I'm giving access to Omkar, right, to my account, and then I don't want to start the tour. So he can do almost everything, or he can view only as of now. So he cannot go and modify anything. He cannot go and do the thing. So basically, with my only Azure account, that which was on free tier, I have provided access to my team members. Okay, and my team can easily go and do multiple things. And there is one more option I just missed showcasing you. There is option to switch the directory. If I would have created a directory, अभी तक हमने directory नहीं create किया, so I can easily go and switch the directory. I can see only one directory as of now in my subscriptions. तो वही अब हमको देखना था. Subscription is another part of the game. Yeah, account we have seen tenant, and subscription is now we are talking about. So subscription is something, if you have this is free tier. So if I have multiple subscription, or if I have multiple client accounts, I can connect to my single user account, and then I can see multiple directories over here. I can switch the directories. So directory is the organization structure basically. One organization having that own directory. So that is what the directory is decided with the domain name. Hmm? If I could have created a tenant, then I would have a secondary directory over here. कि directory उस tenant के लिए भी एक directory है, but वो tenant create नहीं हुआ. Captcha कैसे खराब हो सकते हैं क्या बता. ठीक है, I was not able to capture the captcha. Not a problem at all. You guys go and try. Hmm? I tried mine, but it has not worked. ठीक है. So I can basically go and change the directory. I can easily go and log in into somebody else's, not somebody else's, someone, some other directory or some other subscription that I can easily do. Right now I don't have any, so I will not be able to. So here is in appearance, you can also choose like how you want to have a menu bar. Like currently it is flyout, right? I can click on it and I can do like this. If I did docked, and if I apply, so there is options will be shown in the form of menus. Okay, I can also change the theme. I can also show what I want to see on the startup. So startup में मेरे को home दिख रहा है, मेरे को dashboard देखना है, like pricing वगैरह. So I can modify these settings from the portal settings app. We have not seen it in the last. So this is what I'm just applying, and then see the changes. Even if I close, I can see the menus over here. And as soon as I go to azure.home, I'm coming to my dashboard. So on my dashboard, I can see all the resources that I'm using. Number one, quick start tutorial nahi chahiye meko abhi. And then cost by service, which on the day one, I guess I added it on the dashboard. Also service का क्या cost हुआ? So it is showing storage cost is 150 rupees, 168. Virtual machine का cost is 31 rupees. Virtual network का कुछ भी cost नहीं हुआ. Okay, virtual network हुआ है, network का कुछ नहीं हुआ, bandwidth कुछ नहीं, virtual कुछ नहीं. You can monitor your logs anyways, so from here. So and of course, since we have created VM last time, so our account balance has reduced. It was 800, it has reduced to 589. So 0.1 rupees, zero point 0.8 paise, like 1 rupees per hour, it is reducing. So I don't know how much, 300 rupees or so, it has deducted from my account. So you guys go and monitor your account as well going forward when you are doing things, and it will help you. Okay. So this is a basic thing about Azure directory, and then I want you guys to go and create some users, play with the subscription, try to create some tenants, and then that's it. So resource group is a new terminology which we have not heard yet now. So resource group is a so this is not user group, huh? The one which I have shown you. So resource group is where your resources means any of the service that I'm using from cloud. Okay. So here I can create a resource groups, and then into that resource groups I can add users. I can, so we are already having two resource group. I'll not create new one. I'll access the earlier one. Hmm, resource. So I can build some user access into this resource group कि बाबा ये user इसी के लिए allowed है. Network watcher RG, suppose RG stands for resource group. ठीक है. Mhm. So in resources, we can provide the access of the resources, like virtual machines, like Azure Active Directory, and anything that you want to do. You can provide the access over here. We'll talk about these resource groups going forward. In all the services that I'm going to use, I'll be attaching a resource group, RG. Okay. So without attaching RG, I'll not be able to create the services. I guess this storage wala we have created for the terminal that we enabled on the day one, and this network watcher we created for virtual machine. That is when it has showing over there, because I manually have not gone from this account. I have not gone and created any resource. So it is by default generated at the time of creation of some services. It asks हम्म, ये VM के लिए सॉरी ये CLI के लिए ये वाला बना था सेंट्रल डेटा मेरे को याद है ठीक से शेल स्टोरेज and this network watcher is created at the time of this thing uh, the VM wala. So going forward, as soon as we create databases, as soon as we create some more services, we'll be using more resource groups, and of course we are going to use existing one, and then on top of it, if required, we can create a new one. That is how it is going to work. Okay. So this is a glimpse of Azure Directory. So it has some more features which we are not going to go in detail. There are a few things I wanted to show you, but that is something which will not be coming into your exam, not in AZ900. So anything which is required, I'll be sharing with you so that you guys will have a good understanding of the services that are available in Azure. Okay, so with this, we are stopping our session a bit early today. So I want you guys to go and do some hands-on practice. See, learning will not help, or attending session only will not help. I want you to go and try out few things. Try to see if you could create your friend's account, है ना? तो उसको access ले लो यार. तुम मेरे account से use करो portal.azure.com, right? So that can be easily done, and then of course you need to manage what you can say you need to manage the access, otherwise these guys create huge services and you'll be you have to pay them. Okay, so this person with another account, so welcome to don't have subscription, check out the following options. We don't have, okay, so it is showing you don't have subscription because I have not provided the access to of any of the service. If I would have done, ठीक है, मैं ऐप सर्विस से डायरेक्टली क्रिएट नहीं कर सकता हूँ currently because I have not provided any access to this person. But agar if I want to provide only access of virtual machine to this particular user, I can go and do it from my uh, user AZ, or resource groups can be used to provide the access to the user. Okay. So basically that is what we do in companies. That is how we work, basically providing a limited access to limited set of users and keeping the admin access to the database, cloud architect also. Okay. So this is how we can provide, create users, manage their accesses, and then provide the identity. See, the username password which I used worked correctly, and we are able to see the Azure service. At least view तो दिख रहा है उसको, है ना? इसके बिना उसके पास view भी नहीं था with this account. ठीक है, all right. So you guys go and try and work on these particular things, and we'll see few more services tomorrow uh, related to this, of course, and we'll continue learning Azure. Okay, with this, thank you so much for joining in. See you 9 o'clock tomorrow. Bye bye. Any questions? I'll be here for next 2 minutes. If you have any, ask me, and then we will stop. If you don't have any questions, then we are good to close this session. All right, no questions. Ending the session.